who is our candidate in St Albans last general election.
Hello, conference. So I brought a motion to you last autumn imploring you to save the pubs. So I thought we'd up the ante by setting out our stall as the only party with a plan to save the NHS. We've had a brilliant debate. We've had lots of interest, lots of speeches, and there were also lots of very good proposed amendments, only some of which could be included. Let me address some of the comments we made today. Colin, congratulations on your election. I can reassure you this is an NHS at 70 motion. It is not a full health and social care motion, but that will indeed be the next step as Judith set out. June, you rightly reminded us of our constitution, the fact that we have all signed up by joining this party to make sure that nobody is enslaved by poverty. And the gap in money between the amount of money that a local authority can give to a care home and how much a care home must charge does in fact condemn some of the most vulnerable people in our society to that poverty. Lee and Norman, you both rightly urged us that we must continue to campaign on mental health. The work is not done. We must tackle the discrimination at the heart of our NHS. We must end that burning injustice now. Claire, you rightly reminded us why we need to campaign for further funding and why we must have integration between health and social care. Alistair, you called for a separate vote. I understand your concerns, but I don't agree with you. The only recommendation in this motion is simply to call for a review. The review could in fact just review the use of health data. That could then feed into an even bigger review on data structures more broadly, so I don't think we're at odds there. Mohsin and Pabla, you put a human face on some of the challenges facing people day in, day out. The story of Kim, who has to suffer an out-of-area placement, and the importance of what a bursary means to student nurses and students of allied professions. Michael, where's the special passport for your wife? Well, let me remind you that we are the only party demanding that Theresa May answers that question. I understand your concern. We are the only party that has consistently and continually campaigned for the right of all EU citizens to remain in the UK. But the problem we're tackling in this motion is that we already have a staffing crisis in the NHS, and Brexit is making it a lot worse. Pharmacies, yes, they're incredibly important, and there is a role for them in tackling health inequalities. Let me tell you this. In St Albans, where I live, a relatively wealthy city compared to many other parts of the country, there are some shocking gaps in life expectancy. A man in Sopwell Ward can expect to live to the age of 77. Just a 10-minute drive to the north, in Martenswick North, a man can expect to live to 87. That is a 10-year difference for a 10-minute drive. Conference public support for the NHS and its founding principles are as strong as ever. And as we approach the NHS's 70th anniversary on the 5th of July, I am delighted that the Liberal Democrats have a plan to protect our NHS for future generations. This motion sets out our plan to tackle the three biggest challenges facing the NHS at 70. We'll tackle funding with ring-fenced 1p tax for NHS and social care. We'll address the staffing crisis with an NHS passport to guarantee the rights of EU health workers and re-establishing those student nurse bursaries and for students of allied health professions. And we will tackle the massive gaps in health inequality by promoting the role of community pharmacies. Conference, I'm 36. The NHS has already saved my life 3 times. I urge you, please vote for the motion.